Thanks for joining us on krockfootball.com.au, of course, proudly supported by Morris Finance. Tom King here at Geelong Falcons headquarters, Heighton Reserve, and the pleasure this afternoon is to speak with the coach of the Geelong Falcons heading into his second season, Andy Allthorpe. Andy, thanks for joining us on krockfootball.com.au. Second season in charge, I suppose. Does it get easier knowing that you've already had one pre-season with the boys and about to finish a second one and head into your second year as coach?
Yeah, definitely have a better understanding of how you want to set your year up and how you want to develop the boys over the 12 months.
What have you learned about yourself as a coach in the last 12 months? Something that you didn't know, prior to joining the Falcons regime?
Probably just managing the rest of the staff was probably the biggest change. Having so many staff to work with and make sure they've all got their jobs to do and they're getting their jobs done is probably the biggest change from the footy side of things in particular, and then working with Levi with the high performance side, balancing it out so the program's got a good balance to it, both fitness and football-wise.
Of course, in the last couple of weeks, the squad's been finalised for 2013. Around 50 lucky young men a chance to play at TAC Cup level and expose themselves, I suppose, to higher honours. But you're fortunate in a regard that you exposed so many of your bottom age last year to TAC Cup football, and they go in pretty experienced this year. Yeah,
definitely. We were pretty aware of that last year. We had a strong bottom age group and we wanted to expose them as much as we could, see where they were at, and then we've worked pretty hard through that middle and second part of the year to get a good group together and to perform well at the end of the year, and to win a final was a real bonus for us, and it really gave us a chance to expose them to some quality opposition.
Of course, you bring in some new faces as well, so you get a chance to look at some kids. Who are some of the new names we're going to see as part of the Falcons lineup in 2013?
Well, we had 6 kids from in the Vic Country under 16s last year, and that was Hugh Goddard was obviously one of them, who's in the AIS Level 1 squad. We've got Pat McCartan, who was a centre forward in that Vic Country side. Jackson Nelson was a midfielder, so there's 3 boys that definitely will come in and add something to our side. Locally, what we've picked up is a boy, Will Couch, from Geelong College, who will add some midfield depth and a bit forward, who can play when he's available from the college. And that's probably a good starting point for our side. It definitely can add some depth to us throughout the year, because it's going to be a pretty challenging year with APS football, AIS football and state footy. We're going to be able to give plenty of kids an opportunity to play.
I suppose that's the whole reason for such big squads, isn't it? As you say, obviously, school footy commitments and state commitments, you're chopping and changing. I suppose you almost become more a man manager. You're a bit like running an English Premier League soccer club with the amount of games that are being played by kids elsewhere, and how you manage, I suppose, their workloads in growing bodies. Yeah,
it's very different to anywhere else you coach. It's certainly something we have to be very aware of. They're all young boys who have got to balance it out with their schooling or work. And yeah, some of them go to APS schools, so they're only available for 10 games a year, I think it is. And then obviously boys, we hope, can get into the Vic Country side, so we're really hoping that we can have a strong group that get into that, hopefully 10 players, and then yeah, that gives the younger boys an opportunity to play TAC footy.
Back to your squad, obviously, people live in shadows, unfortunately. There's famous surnames there. The kids are obviously, their parents, grandparents, cousins, whatever, have all involved. Brothers, I suppose, in Aaron Christensen's case, you've got a Cordy, you've got a Maddock. Phil Maddock obviously played with Geelong. His young fella's on the list. A Cole coming through. The Couch, I believe, is a relative of Paul's. So there's some famous surnames as part of the squad.
Yeah, there definitely is. Each year there's usually 2 or 3 that go through, but this year's probably a bit different. There's quite a few. But yeah, they're all there, and they're all there to give themselves their best shot at it and try and reach their full potential in their own right.
Mick Turner will probably confirm this, but I would suspect that for the first time in the TAC Club's history, there are brothers on a list. It's very rare that it happens, unless you've got twins. Having brothers that are of a different age or different age year birth, it's a little bit different. I think the 2 Dixon boys.
Yeah, no, actually I look up on the photos, and the Tallaricos did it. They were both at the same time, and since then I haven't actually seen any others up there on the board that are actually brothers there. But yeah, they get along really well, and they're both very competitive and both pretty supportive of each other in what they do, cricket or footy.
I've got to say, they're both good cricketers. I suppose here's your chance to convince them that football's the sport to be playing.
Well, it's up to them, mate. They enjoy both, and they work really hard at it, and they manage to balance it. They're very professional in the way they go about it. So yeah, it's just another great opportunity for them this year.
What's the goal in season 2013? Obviously, kids would love to play in a premiership and be drafted at the end of the year. It's not going to happen for everybody, and a premiership's no guarantee. I think the Falcons only 2 flags in what is now 22 seasons of TAC Cup footy. How do you sort of balance out team needs, but also individual needs?
Yeah, well, what we do each week is pretty much go through the whole list and work out what's best for the individual, and then we worry about picking our side from that. The most important thing is obviously their workloads, making sure they're not too run down, they haven't been playing too much footy, and just really look after them as an individual before we start looking at the team. Once we've done that, then we can start building a team around who's available. Then we do that, and I think whatever week it is, we're going to be pretty competitive with the group we've got.
Obviously, Andy, you carved your name at Bell Park with those great under-18 sides going back 5 or 6 years ago. Here to the Falcons, is this the next step for you as you look to go further in your coaching? Have you got aspirations to be on an AFL coaching staff eventually?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say no to anything, but I just really like working with the teenagers and really working with them. It's an important time in their lives, not just football-wise, but in the whole scheme of things. So I just really like working with them and trying to get the most out of them and hopefully see them reach their full potential. It's a great opportunity down here, great place to work, and work with the kids when they're down here because they're so keen to learn. They want to improve.
Your coaching staff for this year, keeping it similar to 2012?
Yeah, we've Matty Verthus unavailable, but we've got Josh McCann on, so we've replaced one South Barwon legend with another, and we've got Luke Rayner. So we just changed the structure slightly. I'll focus on the offensive side of things, Luke will focus on the defensive side of things, and Josh will focus on stoppages. Then we've got 3 development coaches underneath that, James Jelly from Camperdown, Adam Wilkinson and Daniel Lowther's come on board this year to help out in the development role as well, with Damien McMahon overseeing the development side of things.
Fantastic. What's brand of footy we're going to see from the Falcons this year?
We'll take the game on as much as can. We'll be pretty attacking, but also we're going to work really hard on the defensive side. As the way we've set up the coaching staff, we want to teach the boys a really balanced style of play. We want to make sure they understand how important the defensive side is as well as the offensive side. So, yeah, we're going to work really hard at teaching both sides of the game to them. Andy, we appreciate your time on krockfootball.com.au. Look forward to catching up with you throughout season 2013, and good luck for round 1, which is not too far away. Thanks very much, Tom.